computer.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, Melba. Hello, how are you?
Hola, hi. Fine, you?
I'm great. I'm great. So, I guess what I want to talk about today is why we do this work. Why I'm a medium. Why is this important? And so I'm gonna say my story, and then maybe you can share one of those.
Please.
So, I remember you and I when we first started developing, and all the work that we were doing. We were in a circle. So one of the things I want to throw out there is that there's a lot of free circles that you can join. As a matter of fact, Melba has one at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays. If anybody's interested in joining, so that
3
you can do it.
3:30
Oh,
Eastern.
3:30. It's 12:30 my time.
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah,
know. Pacific,
you're
right? Pacific.
Pacific. Yeah. So 3:30 Eastern time and 12:30 Pacific. So anyway, the reason I was saying that was because Melba and I were in this circle, and you know, Melba has always pushed me and always believed in me and always like, oh my gosh. So there was this one girl who Melba was reading, and she says, Erica, I need you to stay on the Zoom because we need to read this lady. And I'm like, okay, Melba, all right, let's do this. But it was such a beautiful reading. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was happening. So I started connecting and I felt the male energy. And then I knew I needed to prove to her that I knew what I was doing and I knew, this person. And then I felt that he died really quickly. And then I felt like how in the movies when a bomb goes off and it's like that
Boom.
in
Ah,
the
the
ear,
noise that, yeah,
uh,
that it
that
stays.
yes, yeah. And so I felt that and I'm like, oh, it was like an impact
Uh-huh.
from one moment to the next. Um and it was just kind of like one moment he was here, the next moment he was gone.
Uh,
um and it turned out that it was her son who passed away in a car accident.
yes.
And it was quick impact, and it was such a special reading because first I wasn't I was I just trusted, right? One of the things about being a strong medium or a psychic is knowing that you know. And when you know that you know, um, you just have to figure out how to communicate it and how to connect the dots. Sometimes you say things and you're like, ooh, this doesn't make sense. You say it anyway. It doesn't matter because there's some connection there. And it was such a beautiful reading because this woman had just lost her son, and we are talking about how she can still connect to him, how she can still talk to him, and that he's around her all the time, and that he loves her, and that she's not alone. And I did pick up on her depression, and I was telling her that it was important that she start doing grief counseling or something to help her through it because you know um, she still has work to do here. A lot of times when we lose our loved ones, a lot of us are like, God, I wish I could go with them, but we have a mission to complete, and we're not supposed to go until we complete that mission. And it was the most beautiful reading that I've ever had because one, I was new, I wasn't, and it was very validating. And two, it was, a mother connecting with her son. It was such a beautiful
That's beautiful.
experience, and that's why I do this work. I do this work because you know what? My mother died when I was 5, and I always wanted to go to a medium because we never. I have very few memories, and I wanted to see what she thought about me. To now as an adult, and have being a mother, having my own kids, um, and I wanted to have that message, that communication. Eventually, I did get a message from my mother, in several different times, several different mediums, but that's what I want to give to others. The message, the communication.
Priceless. Yes.
It is, and especially when you don't believe. A lot of people don't believe, but when you say, like I was reading this lady, and I said I have an A name, and in my head, and because I didn't say it, Anna, and her name was Anne. It was the grandma Anne, And so I didn't want to say it, but then that's when I was like, no, no matter what comes to your head, you have to say it because there's a connection there. So another time I was reading this guy, and it was like a movie. Sometimes for me, when I read, it's like a movie, you know. And I saw this guy pulled over on the side of the road and the hood lifted up and he was there trying to fix the car with like a trapo and stuff like that, you know. And I told the guy, "Hey, are you fixing cars?" He's on, "No." But I knew I was right because I saw him. I saw him trying to fix the car. And then I said, "Wait a minute, wait a minute. Your car's always breaking down, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Well, you're always trying to fix your car." he goes, "Oh," "Oh yeah." And so it's important that whatever comes to you,
Say it.
what you say it, no matter what. If it sounds weird or I don't want to say that, this is strange. This is, you say it. You say it because there's a message there. There's something that needs to be said. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to share your story.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Um, well, I had an experience the other day, but out of respect to the people involved, I will change the names and the details. So the other day I was a a colleague of mine, I used to be a military psychologist, mostly doing research on stress and PTSD and stuff. And anyway, so I don't want to say where, etc., but to disrespect people. But anyway, a colleague asked me to help someone who has just lost their spouse. I didn't know the person or nothing, and when friends and family contact me, I help for free. It's just paying forward. So we talked about the situation, the horrible experience that this person suffered, and I moved forward to just answer some questions about, do spirits, when we leave our bodies, can we continue to communicate, or do we just continue to communicate and then we take off, or what? So I explained that yes, we have that power to come back, as far as I know, because I've seen it in many other cases. But our spirit family, our family that has passed, and friends and loved ones, will not come around us if we're gonna get scared, or if we're gonna continue, if it's gonna make us grieve more. They don't want us to be unhappy. So it was interesting because, again, the the person that passed came through a little bit for me, but then I was talking with a grieving person, so I ended up talking about answering some questions and talking about potential ways to cope and grieve. I go to bed because when I sleep, I don't want to be disturbed by anyone in the physical or in the spiritual world. I want to sleep. And the next morning, I had to practice. I wanted to practice. I mean, this platform, Verdi Soul, they're great. It's for free. And anyway, so the good thing is it's global. So you never know who you're going to practice with. Everyone share their calendar, and connections are happening in regard to timing, but you don't really know who booked you or who are you booked with, because you don't pay attention. You go mostly by times and stuff. So it was super early here, and this beautiful gentleman, I won't say his name, eh, that works in another country, that lives in another country, eh, came through. And I am that type of person that, even though I like chit chatting, I rather don't. It's called don't feed the medium. Don't give me information that might throw me off or I might throw you off. I don't want to tell you where I'm from or where I'm living, because then during the reading we might be like, oh, your family's from. Oh, she just told me she's from Puerto Rico. I'm from Puerto Rico, obviously. Whatever, because I've told you. But so we're like, okay, bye, okay. Nice meeting you. Who's gonna start? Okay, so this beautiful guy, gentleman, he start talking and he says that he start describing the spirit communicator. Like he was, you know, a guy acting like this, like that. And I already thought, oh, that's my dad again, because my dad loves this. He's always in and out. He's always getting every my practices, my readings, everything. I love him. And but then the gentleman said a name that I never use. There, no one has it in my family, as far as I know. And I had just heard it the night before from the grieving spouse, the case that I just told you. And I was like, and then I keep writing because I get like on La 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 and I start drawing and writing feedback. And all of a sudden, the person says, "Oh, I hear this that is also from this country." So I'm like, "Oh, my heart skipped." So because I'm very intuitive, so I thought the name plus the country. So it wasn't exactly the country, but around there. I'm like, okay, this guy's from another country, so he won't know specifically from where. So but it sounded. And then I said, I am so sorry. I don't like it. I don't want to interrupt you, Flo. I don't like asking spirits how they pass because I think it's traumatic to them and traumatic to everyone. And I don't want to feel it because sometimes I feel how they pass. But I say, in this case, would you mind telling me? And the guy said, eh, I haven't said any information, so I can say it. He say, I feel bubbles. And the person that had passed was drowned. So at that moment, I said, oh, I just froze and I said, okay, this message is not for me. Continue. I'm going to write some notes, but I'm not going to, it's not for me, but it's fine. So I wrote that. Then I exchanged my reading and I read him. And then with with his permission, this guy, I let the grieving person know via text. And then we all agree verbally, whatever, that let's continue the conversation as possible. And everyone wanted for all of us to be together. I was going to remove myself from the equation, but it felt like the energy was better, the three of us, because it's all about energy. My point is we have to have a good intention. We cannot say, I hope my spouse come back, but we don't really feel it, that the energy is low. We have to believe it. We have to start calling the person, please come forward, please come forward. And it happened. We went, the three of us in Zoom. We were kind of like praying and asking, because this is the non-denominational. It's just please asking the spirit, please, and asking whoever we believe it, God, angels, whatever, Allah, whoever, please help us bring that spirit, that energy, information. And it happened. The grieving person heard from the reader. I was there trying to push the energy and kumbaya, and it was beautiful. And then I the person, I allowed the person to just record everything and use it as they wanted it. So I think it was a beautiful thing. So point, we have the power, we have the right, no power because we don't summon spirits or whatever. At least Eric and I don't do that. We can ask our family members to come forward different ways, and this was a beautiful thing. And just another quick case, my daughter, she wanted to talk to. She was visiting uh, for
Spring break.
spring break. Thank you. Thinking in Spanish, and she practiced with someone, and the my father came through, and she was very happy about it. And then she felt sad and happy, and then she was sad that she could not talk to the other, that she has not heard from the other, from my father's father, my husband's father. And we prayed and we asked and we look at the picture. Please, his name is Norm. Come through, please, Norm, please, as soon as you can, please. We love you. Victoria needs your love and your energy. Please come forward however you want, as a bird, as a dream, through a medium. And the next day, she signed up with someone because in Very Soul, we have friends and family. I promote everyone I believe in, so I don't care. So we have very if friends and family, they can sign up, and she signed herself up with I don't know whom, and she had a reading, and then she came crying and happy at the same time to my room and said, "Mommy, guess who came through?" my other grandpa. And it was beautiful, beautiful. So yes, you have the power. They're ready. They're in line. They're waiting. But we have to believe it and feel it. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mom. But I think for me, it's so very healing. You know, um, when I first had a message from my mother, um, it it was so profound because you always question. You know, I died when I was 5, so obviously I'm 48 now, so it's like my life, everything. And they, even though I didn't have her, I had her because she was looking at me the whole time, making sure that I was okay. And I was confirmed in that first reading I had. I've heard from her since a lot, now that I've done this work, but my first reading, hearing from my mother, was so healing. So healing. So thank you, Melba.
Ah, thank you for sharing. You're such a beautiful person.
Me too. Thank you, Melba.
Okay, so I'll see you next time. Are we gonna do in
Thank you.
Spanish now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll get out and come back in Spanish. Love you.